Hey, what's up, YouTube? King James here. It's been a minute since I've talked about a Modern Warfare gun. More specifically, today I'm talking about the GRAW. And it's mostly because the loadouts haven't changed, they haven't been nerfed or buffed, and to be honest, I think the Cold War guns are getting most of the play only because there's new ones coming and they're changing quite often. But with this recent patch, they buffed the GRAW again. And it's been a while since I've used a Modern Warfare gun, if I'm honest, and I kind of miss them. So I wanted to go back and check it out again, and I did that, and I got it for you right now.
Whoa. Good shot.
Me. Guy up on gondola. Killed him.
Good shit. The other one's going left
His buddy's
side,
coming.
left
His
side.
buddy's coming.
Thank you for that help. That was
I'm
good.
done, dude.
I'm done, dude, he says.
I'm done.
anyone
Dude, is that
use
what he said?
Yeah. So I played with the GRAW for an entire night while I was streaming, and to be honest, I kind of miss the Modern Warfare guns. If you played when Warzone originally came out in the first 6 seasons, the Modern Warfare guns were, well, that's all we had, because it was just Modern Warfare. We didn't have Cold War then. And I got used to using all those guns, and they were really familiar. And it really actually felt pretty good to go back and use one of those again. So if you've sort of been missing the Modern Warfare guns, the GRAW is a good one to pull back out. It was just recently buffed, and I'll show you that in a second. If you want to check me out on Twitch, I stream Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, sometimes on Sundays, and you can come in and drop in and say hi and watch me stream for a little while. I don't normally promote my Twitch stream, but I'm going to try and do it a little bit, just see how it goes. Anyway, let me show you the patch notes and what they changed and why it matters. Alright, so in the most recent patch notes, you can see here the GRAW 556 minimum damage from 22 to 24. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but that actually changes the time to kill and how many bullets it takes to down an enemy by quite a bit. If you watch some of my other videos, I detailed that in a bit more detail. But let me show you the difference between it and a couple of the other popular guns right now. So here's the GRAW 556 in orange versus the Krig and the C58, and I've done reviews on both of those guns recently. And to be honest, if you look at the GRAW, it's actually right in the mix. Now, it does have a slower time to kill out at range past about 47 meters, but to be honest, don't let the graph fool you where it looks like a lot. This is 860 milliseconds, or 859, and this is 792. So it's really only a gap of 60 milliseconds, which is really short, let's be honest. So really, these guns all have about the same time to kill. I mean, 60 milliseconds isn't going to make or break your game, especially when it's your sort of medium to long range gun. But there's a few things about the GRAW that make it different than the other two guns. And if I look at it, here's the thing. The higher the RPM, the more forgiving the gun is. And this is one thing about the Modern Warfare guns, is they all had pretty good RPM. 730 versus the C58 is 553. Now it hits hard, but it's got slow RPM. This is a higher skill gun. And then the Krig is kind of in the middle, right? At 652, it's in between the C58 and the GRAW, and then the GRAW at 730. So the higher the RPM, the easier the gun is to use, because the less it matters if you miss a couple of bullets. And let's be honest, when you're shooting guys at range, you're probably going to miss a couple. So the GRAW certainly makes it easier and more forgiving. Now, there's a couple other benefits to the GRAW as well. It actually has a slightly faster ADS, although we're only talking 30 milliseconds. That's pretty slow, but it is slightly faster. The movement speed on it is a little slower than the Cold War guns, but it has higher bullet velocity. So there's a few trade-offs that you can make with the different guns when you use them. It's mostly just a playstyle thing, but if you want to try Modern Warfare gun, this is really one that you want to pick up. So I dropped in and I wanted to give the GRAW another shot up the wall to see if I can remember what the pattern looks like, because it's been so long since I've used it. So I dropped in, and while it's pretty well just a straight line up, and it pulls a little to the right. So it's pretty easy with a controlled shot to have a nice clean dot that's really small on the wall. That type of thing really makes sure you hit all of your shots. And I wanted to compare it to the Krig, because it's another AR that I've been using a lot lately. And while the Krig definitely doesn't have a whole lot of recoil, because they fixed that a couple of seasons ago, and on the controlled shot on it, it's about the same. I actually think I got a bit of a tighter dot, and it might be because the zoom's a little easier to deal with, or the scope, but you know, they're pretty well the same, let's be honest. When shooting at distance, that versus this isn't really going to make a whole lot of difference, but they both have a nice tight shot and pretty easy to manage recoil. So even at close range with that VLK 3.0, the GRAW still works really well. It's really strong, and even when you're challenged up close, you're definitely not going to have too much problem with it. And even at some sort of range, I never had any problems. So you shot that guy, and then all of a sudden I started hip firing and shot this guy up close. That's the thing. It's a good versatile gun. You can use it at pretty well any range. And look at all those hit markers, man. This thing's practically a laser beam. You saw it on my controlled shot when I was doing the recoil testing, how easy it is to get a nice laser beam shot on it. You can really see that when I'm using it. here, it definitely has that. And maybe because I've used these guns for so long, but I really remember being able to use these and get lots of hit markers like that with it, and it'd be really consistent. So that's one thing that I always did love about the Modern Warfare guns, is how consistent and easy they are to shoot. And you can see that right here when I'm shooting these guys. You know, he's flying out, and me and a couple of my buddies are lasering him right there. No problem getting the downs. Like if you're challenging somebody with this, and you know, shooting the guys, I hate the guys with the helicopters, but anyway, when you're challenging guys with these types of guns, I feel really confident when I'm using them. And speaking of hit markers, check this out, man. This is just a couple of clips of just straight hit markers using the GRAW. And this is one thing I love. I love that sound when you're getting those shots on guys. I'll play it right now.
I
killed this.
Yo, there's a vet.
Love those hit markers from this gun. So I've been carrying my GRAW with the OTS-9. I'm going to have a build for that on Friday. So if you're not subbed to the channel, make sure that you're subbed and turn notifications on so you know when I post that video if you want to see the OTS-9. However, let me show you my GRAW build. But just before I jump into that, I want to say thank you to everybody who's recently subbed to the channel and is here watching my videos. I really appreciate all that love and support and the thumbs up and the comments and all those things. So thank you very much for that, guys, really and truly. And if you haven't subbed to the channel, consider subscribing because it really does help small content creators like myself. All right, let me show you my build. So for the GRAW, I'm starting with a blueprint that's got purple tracers. It's a pack I bought a while ago. You don't really need to use that, but if you want to get it, it's in the store, I think, still that you can buy it. And I actually kind of like the tracers. I've always found that I like them. It just helps me track guys. But anyway, if you've used Modern Warfare builds before and were playing in the Modern Warfare era, then you're going to recognize the build for this gun. If you're not, if you came around the Cold War time, then I'll go through it a little bit and describe some of the attachments for you. So for the muzzle, monolithic suppressor. This is your agency suppressor. It's the same thing, gives you sound suppression and damage range. Now for the barrel, we want the max bullet velocity we can get, and for this gun, it's the Tempest 26.4 Archangel, and it says damage range, bullet velocity, and recoil control. So you're definitely going to want to grab that. Now for the optic, we're going to run the VLK 3.0. It's sort of the axial arms in the Modern Warfare stable, so it gives you a pretty decent zoom and makes it nice and easy, although it's smaller than the axial arms is. Now for ammunition, you definitely want the 60 round mag because you want as many bullets as you can get with lots of ability to damage guys, so you have lots of damage per mag. And under barrel, I'm going to use the Commando 4 grip. This is sort of the field agent grip in the Modern Warfare stable. And this has been really successful as my medium long range gun. And this is a very, normal Modern Warfare build, and pretty well the same way you're going to build, any of the Cold War guns using similar attachments. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Are you using Cold War guns exclusively, or have you thought about pulling the Modern Warfare guns out again? Now that I've used it and played with it for a full night, I'm telling you, they actually feel pretty comfortable and they're definitely viable again, and I actually really enjoyed playing with it. It's a bit of nostalgia for me because I started playing Warzone right back in Season 1 when it first came out. So I actually really like pulling this one back out and using it again. So if you haven't done it in a little while, check it out and give it a try again. It's actually pretty worth it and was pretty fun to use. I got a bunch more videos coming out this week. I'm going to have the, as I said, the OTS-9, which is what I'm using right here, on Friday. So make sure you're subbed and hit your notifications so you can check that out when that comes out. Anyways, guys, that's it for me. So if you don't see me in Warzone, if you don't see me in multiplayer, it's only a matter of time, baby. King James out.